Australian footy record.
Hi everyone, welcome to On The Record, brought to you by Woolworths as we take a sneak peek inside the pages of this week's edition of the AFL Record, Australia's #1 selling sports magazine. And who better to join me in this multicultural round than the Belle of Box Hill, my AFL media friend and colleague, Nat Edwards. Nat, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ash. Ni hao.
And shalom. Big time. You're Singaporean, of course. I'm Jewish, so we love the multicultural round. And we celebrated in the magazine this week with a series of features, including Out of Africa, where we look at three players, notably Jason Johannisen of the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah, isn't Jason Johannisen a fantastic story from South Africa? And we saw him return on the weekend, didn't we? 10 weeks out with a hamstring injury and came back to kick the winning goal with about 10 seconds left. So a fantastic return, and he's a really crucial part to the Western Bulldogs side.
It's almost like the whole band, except for Rob Murphy now, the whole band's back together for that running, hard-running Bulldog backline that's set to play up.
Yeah, most definitely. His speed, creative play-off half-back, it's very much needed, isn't it?
A very important player for them. Also this week, we feature Stephen Coniglio from the Greater Western Sydney Giants. He's been there for the hard yards. He's now in a team that could even win a flag this year. How's he going?
He's going really well, a multicultural ambassador as well. He really plays that run-with role very well this year, but has been impressive as well, can be damaging. His scalps include the likes of Ablett, Mitchell and Dangerwood, that dangerous duo down at Geelong at the moment. So he is travelling really well, averaging 28 disposals per game this year, career best form.
Now, also this week, in a couple of the games, the AFL is going to be putting names in different languages on the back of the jumpers. I think the Gold Coast Suns and GWS might be two of those. But as a matter of policy, we tried it a couple of years ago. Would you like to see it reintroduce the AFL as a permanent feature?
I would. I quite liked it. I think it was round 5, 2014 when they trialled it, and the fans really enjoyed it. But I think there was just some issue with the logistics in terms of sponsors and space on the back of the jumper. But I think it's a must for the Women's League that comes in next year. Yeah,
I'd like to see it, certainly for the NAB Challenge. I think it's an absolute no-brainer for the pre-season. Not so sure about the regular season. Now, Nat, turning to our match centre in the middle of the magazine, and it is a big week for Lewis Jetta of the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, it is. He's really struggled since coming across to West Coast, of course, leaving Sydney last year, traded for Callum Sinclair. I think the Swans are winning that deal at the moment. He played all right against Essendon last week. He's been dropped twice to the waffle, but I mean, really, I just think he's struggling. So he really needs to make a mark against North Melbourne this week at Domain.
He was only against Essendon, but he had 15 touches and 3 inside 50, so maybe he's turned the corner. I agree with you. He's a really important player for them. And a big game on Sunday against North Melbourne at Domain Stadium. Now, turn to the back half, and we're resuming normal transmission footy this week, Nat. We're back to 9 games on the weekend, admittedly over 4 days instead of 3. The big game, of course, is Thursday night, kicks it off. Port Adelaide v Hawthorn, a game close to your heart and to mine as well. Why did Port Adelaide, they've won 3 of the last 4 against Hawthorn, why?
I just think they get off to a better start. They're probably better at the contested ball and they're really winning it in the midfield. Chad Wingard is obviously a very dangerous player. He hasn't really been firing so much this year, but he's kicked 10 goals in the last 4 games against Hawthorn and really can get off the leash. I think Ben Stratton has a pretty tough job ahead of him on Thursday night.
A question before you go, Nat. How's the 4-peat tracking?
Oh, I'm a little bit nervous about this, Ash, as I think you are too. Not confident at all. I think there's plenty of improvement. Contested ball is one of the chinks in their armour. Probably clearances as well. But I think if they're up and running at the right time of the year, anything can happen.
All right, Nat, well, it's been good to have you on board. Now, you can sack Footy Feed anytime you like. There's a standing invitation for you to join us here on The Record. So thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, take that, Maddie Thompson. And now for my tips for round 16. This is a really good round of football. A lot of games to look forward to over the 4 days. I think Hawthorn might narrowly turn the tables on Port on Thursday night at Adelaide Oval. Geelong in an absolute beauty against the Sydney Swans by a couple of goals on Friday night. I like West Coast to win the big one on Sunday afternoon over a battling North Melbourne by about 19 points. And now let's have a look at this week's nominations for the Woolworths Mark of the Year competition.
Biggs to the hot spot. Redpath. Grundy. With a one-hander. That is just an amazing skill. The clock continues to tick. He heads towards Tex Walker territory, but over the top. A teammate has taken a good mark. Is that Jenkins?
Yeah, Maxi's down though. Might have got a big knee from Josh Jenkins.
Not sure Pickens the go-to guy, although yes he is.
Why not, Dwayne?
Yeah, I was 100% incorrect there.
That's a good mark.
I'll be voting for Liam Picken of the Western Bulldogs. And you can have your say by visiting markoftheyear.afl.com.au. So that's it for this week's edition of On The Record. Don't forget when you go in the footy to pick up your copy of the AFL Record for $5. Look for the kids in the green caps and the green jackets. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.